Hi, my name is Nathan Frickle. I'm the youth pastor here at Prayer Mountain in Dallas, and I wanted to talk to you briefly about testimony. So simply put, testimony is something that God has done in your life. And there's examples of testimonies all throughout the Bible. For instance, one of my favorites is in the Old Testament. God constantly reminds Israel when they were in captivity and in bondage, He would say, "I am the Lord your God who delivered you out of Egypt." And so God is telling them, it's an example of something that I've done. I've already done this, and so you can have hope that I will do it again. Or you can have hope, if I did this for your fathers, you can have hope that I'm going to do this for you now. And He does that, He says that repeatedly in the Old Testament because testimony gives other people hope. And there's a lot of examples of this in the Gospels. There's Lazarus, when he was raised from the dead. It says many Jews came to Jesus because of Lazarus. And he didn't even say anything. He was dead. Jesus raised him to life, and many people believed because of that. There's the man who was born blind, and the Pharisees questioned him. And he said, "All I know is that I was born blind, and yet now I see." And there's the man who was born with many demons, and Jesus says, "Tell the people how I've had mercy on you." And it says the people were amazed at Jesus because of this. But my favorite instance of this happening is the woman at the well in John 4, the Samaritan woman. And Jesus is talking with her, and at some point in the conversation, he begins to prophesy over her life. And he says, you've had 5 husbands, and the man you're living with now you're not married to him. And she's kind of taken aback by this. She says, "I see that you're a prophet." And later on in the conversation, they talk about worship. And she says, "We know the Messiah will come at some point and He'll explain these things to us." And Jesus says, "I am the Messiah." And so at the end of this conversation, the woman goes to the town and she speaks to the Samaritans and she says, "Come see a man who told me everything that I've ever done. Could he be the Messiah?" And so what I love so much about this story is this is not a great theological sermon that she gives. This is not even a statement of faith. She herself is not even convinced that Jesus is the Messiah. Yet, at the end of that chapter, in verse 39, we see many Samaritans believed in Jesus because of the woman who said, "Come see a man who told me everything that I've done." And so this is really a challenge for you to just think about anything that God has done in your life. Because this woman, that is all that she did, is she just told these people something that God has done. And we saw many people come to Jesus because of it. And so I want to challenge you and also to encourage you to think on the things that God has done in your life, to think on them. Remember the times that God has come through in your life, and also to share that with other people, because your testimony and your story could hold freedom for somebody else.